Hello world of gamers, taking a slight detour from the Atlas collection today. I've decided to pull from the collection some Xbox 360 games that I believe are gems. Not hidden gems, because at this point in time almost everything has been revealed on YouTube with regards to video games and video game consoles. So these are just games that I would recommend anybody plays who has a 360, who hasn't played these games yet. I'm going to do it in my style, put the game up in front of the camera, flip it over, read the back, talk a little bit about the game until I get to the end of this small pile. Here we go with the first one. Fallout 3. It would have also been Fallout New Vegas included. However, I sold my copy, which was the Ultimate Edition, with the Game of the Year edition of Fallout 3 that I used to have. And the reason I sold those games is because the price increased massively when it was announced that the store was going to get closed down. So I capitalized. And then I picked up this regular edition cheaply. And I will also do the same for Fallout New Vegas as well. This game is a game that I actually had a very long time ago. And when I first played it, I have to say I just didn't get the game. And therefore didn't get into it. At the time that I first played this game, I just wasn't into this type of game. I revisited, however, after I played Fallout New Vegas and had an absolute adventure. And that's what these games are all about. Going off on massive adventures out in the wasteland and murdering lots of people. Let's take a look at the back for those who haven't played the game. Prepare for the future. From the creators of an award-winning Oblivion comes Fallout 3, featuring one of the most realised game worlds ever created. Create any kind of unique or any kind of character, I was just adding my own words there, you want, and explore the open wastes of a post-apocalyptic Washington DC. Every minute is a fight for survival as you encounter super mutants, ghouls, raiders, and other dangers of the wasteland. Brilliant game. Highly recommended. Kane and Lynch 2, Dog Days. This is a game that I only just recently finished. I think it was sometime towards the end of last year that I decided to put this one in and have a playthrough. I did play this a long time ago. I actually played it on the PlayStation 3. I didn't finish it because I had two PlayStation 3 consoles that both broke within months of each other. And that put me off wanting to own a PlayStation 3 ever again. So I eventually got around to playing this, and I'm happy that I did go all the way to the end of the game because it's an absolute blast. It's a very violent shooter game. It's a co-op shooter, and it is set in a style that makes you think that you're actually watching a film whilst you're playing the game. Very cinematic it is. Lots of risque moments, shall we say. Gaming's most notorious criminals. There was a first game, obviously, and it's not one that I've played yet. Has a true intensity to it that most shooters lack. I agree with IGN on that one. In a gritty and brutal crime shooter, a simple job gone wrong finds Kane and Lynch on a desperate and frantic struggle to escape the entire Shanghai underworld. Made by the people who also have done Hitman in recent years. Remember Me? Capcom. Very surprising game. Not made by Capcom, put out by Capcom. And I certainly will remember this game. It took me a long time to take this out of the collection and play it. I played it till the end a few years ago now. And I have to say, at the time, for me, it was a hidden gem moment. I was not expecting what this game turned out to be. It completely blew my mind and left me wanting more when I found out that the developers of this game made another game, which the name of it is escaping my head right now. It might come back. And then when I played the second game, I was very disappointed because it's not like this one. They've used some of the same rewind type mechanics as they did in this game, but the second game is a very different type of game. It's more on the side of a point and click adventure, in that sort of style anyways. Remix Memories Change the World. Neo Paris 2084, a world where memories can now be digitized and traded. There are no secrets anymore. Sounds a bit like the world that we're living in at the moment. One company controls all memory data. There are some willing to stand against them. Nilin, an elite memory hunter, has had her memory wiped. Now she must fight to get it back. So if you look just down below there, don't nod, go and look up their other games. I can't remember the name of the other game for some reason because it wasn't memorable. It wasn't it wasn't one that I will remember. But yeah, this one I highly recommend. It's a bit of a cyberpunk type theme, and there's some investigatory type parts of the game that I'm trying to explain without spoiling for anybody who hasn't played the game. Just go and play it, and then you'll find out. That one feels really heavy. This one must have a massive manual in it. Condemned, a horror game by Monolith, put out by Sega. This was one of the very first Xbox 360 games that I actually finished long time ago, right at the beginning of its console life. And I remember at the time going through lots of different games, being quite disappointed with what I was playing, and then playing this one and just being like, wow, this is the game that I've been looking for some time. It's a survival horror, very much a survival horror in the sense that you are limited to what type of weapons you can use. The majority of them are hand weapons in this game, which makes combat very challenging. It also has some investigatory type parts in the game as well, which turns it almost into a bit of a point and click adventure. That's kind of like what I base it on anyways, because of my history of playing games when I was younger. That's what it reminds us of, but it's nowhere near that in terms of, you know, what a point and click adventure is like. There's just elements of this game that remind us of that style. Brilliant game, highly recommended. There is a sequel as well, which I still haven't finished yet. I must get around to doing that at some point. The hunt for a serial killer has never been so terrifyingly real. A cunning and ruthless killer is taunting authorities with a series of grisly murders. As FBI agent Ethan Thomas, your investigation will pit you against the most violent side of humanity as you unravel clues left by the killer. Stay alive using any weapon you can, from firearms to lead pipes to whatever you can pry from the fully interactive environment. Unprecedented high-definition graphics and meticulously crafted 5.1 surround sound plunge you into a world of violent crime. It is a very violent game. Use sophisticated forensic tools to investigate crime scenes and uncover evidence in this intense, one-of-a-kind psychological thriller. And Monolith also made another game, which is one of my favourites, that I don't have in the collection at the moment either, because I sold all of the ones in the series, and that's the Fear series. So I can't talk about those right now, but maybe in another video. Rebooted once again recently. I do have Prince of Persia on the Switch, which I intend to play at some point soon. This one for the Xbox 360 was a big surprise. I've been a massive fan of Prince of Persia for a long time. When I first started playing this one, the art style was so different that it actually put us off playing the game. And I didn't go through and complete it until a few years after I originally first fired it up. And I'm happy to say that when I persevered and got to the end of this game, it was a very good adventure to be on as the prince. It has a good game mechanic in this where you have a partner in the game who you don't directly control, but she can help you out as you're going through some of the levels. And again, try not to spoil too much. You've got to play the game to see what it is that I'm talking about. I would have loved to get more Prince of Persia's in this cel-shaded style. I really love this art style. And I remember years ago when I fell in love with this art style, going off down a rabbit hole trying to find as many games as possible in this same art style. Walk the path of a young warrior caught between the forces of good and evil, defy a dark god and heal an ancient Persian kingdom of a deadly dark plague to save the world. No fight without pain, no hope without sacrifices, you are the light. And there's a little glimpse of your partner in the game. Batman Arkham Asylum. This one is the Game of Year edition, 3D version, and I do have the 3D glasses inside. I'm also very fortunate that I do have a 3D monitor, a Samsung monitor, so I can play Xbox 360 3D games on a monitor. It is a different and unique experience for the Xbox 360. This game, again, was another massive surprise. I'm not a huge fan of Batman. I do like some of the old Batman films. However, I'm not I'm not somebody who is generally looking out for this type of game. But I did decide to play it a few years back, and when I played it, I couldn't stop playing it, and I got all the way to the end and had an absolute blast. And it's another game which it's very much focused on action and adventuring. But again, there are some investigative type mechanics to the game where you have to look around the environment for clues and figure out puzzles and not just beat up the bad guys. Welcome to the Madhouse. Descend into the core of the criminally insane as the Joker launches his most diabolical plot ever. The inmates of Arkham have been set free, and it's up to Batman to bring order to the chaos and take back the asylum. I do like the Joker in this one. It's a fantastic character voiced by Mark Hamill, as you can see there. Written by Paul Dini and featuring the voice talents of Mark Hamill, Star Wars, and Kevin Conroy. Next up, we have Left 4 Dead, which for me is one of the best zombie shooter games that has ever been made. Of course, by Valve, who were known once upon a time for making fantastic games. This is a game, along with the second one, that I used to play co-op with my son, and we both thoroughly enjoyed this game. We both do still love this game. You can play it as in co-op mode, you can play it couch co-op, you can play it online co-op as well. I know that on PC, the games are still being played by lots of players. 4 survivors in an epic struggle, fighting hordes of swarming zombies. Can you survive the zombie apocalypse? I'm not going to go through all of that stuff that is written down below. But it is a fantastic co-op shooter, and it's even enjoyable if you play it by yourself. This one, once upon a time, might have been considered a hidden gem. The game is Prey. This is a first-person shooter that had a horrendously long development time period, and almost didn't get released. 3D Realms were involved in this. It was one of the first games that I played on the Xbox 360 when the console was first launched. And at the time, I have to say, I could not get into this game. I could not wrap my head around the mind-bending, time-warping, portal opening mechanics of this game. It really is something special and unique, considering that it's a first-person shooter. Later on, I think later on, Portal came after this game. You might have to fact check us on that, but I'm sure this came before Portal and was doing some of the things that you can find in the Portal games before, if I'm correct. I'm sure I am. It has a brilliant story as well. I remember putting this on for the first time and just being absolutely wowed, but then not being able to get I couldn't get far in the game, but I did eventually finish the game many years later, and I'm glad that I persevered with it. A high concept mix of mind-melting gravitational puzzles, beautiful graphics, and intense FPS combat. I just have to rest my hand to stop shaking so much. Living weapons, that's one of the things that's really good about this game. The weapons that you have, some of them are actually aliens, and they are alive and moving as you use them. So living weapons, a faithful sidekick, vehicles, giant environments, jaw-dropping memorable moments, a story of redemption and destiny, and a 3-hour epic soundtrack by Jeremy Soule. Oblivion, Guild Wars, the FPS of the year is in your hands. Imagine a place where gravity isn't always down. It can be controlled, twisted, flipped, and even warped around small planetoids. Imagine walking on walls and ceilings. Can you handle this new challenge? Portals can change everything. Experience for the first time the reality-bending effects of a portal world. Prey sets a new standard that will completely mess with your mind. And it certainly did. It certainly did mess with my mind and made us stop playing, unfortunately, until I went back to it. And then the last one for this pile is Alan Wake, which is one of my favourite horror games of all time. Is it a survival horror? There's elements of it being a survival horror. It is a very much story-driven horror, psychological action thriller, as it says there, but I would say psychological action horror. This game is just, it is amazing. If you've never played it before, please, if you're a horror fan especially, go out and get yourself a copy of this game and then play Alan Wake 2, because that, years in the making, is one of the best follow-ups I have ever played, and I'll talk about that another time. It took us years to actually pick this up and play it, and when I did, it was one of those moments of like, wow, why didn't I get this earlier? In darkness, fight with light. When the wife of best-selling writer Alan Wake disappears on their vacation, his search turns up pages from a thriller he doesn't even remember writing. A dark presence stalks the small town of Bright Falls, pushing Wake to the brink of sanity. In his fight to unravel the mystery and save the woman he loves. Part action game, part psychological thriller, Alan Wake is a pulse-pounding thrill ride. By Remedy, who have been known for putting out some good games over the years. And that is it for now. A longer video than usual. I will get back to the Atlas collection in the next one. And I do need to get myself a tripod for this phone as well for filming, because that was hard. My hand was getting shaky towards the end. Bye for now. Catch you in the next one.